Hi everyone, my name is Vasudha. Welcome to my channel. First of all, wish you all a very happy new year. I hope you had a great start to 2023 and I wish that the rest of the year also remains as wonderful, fantastic, adventurous, successful, whatever you want it to be. And in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I have been occupied with in the last few weeks and couple of months. So let's dive in. So first of all, in the few weeks before the end of 2022, I started looking at some of these different lists that come up about the best books of 2022, the top 50, the top 100 books of 2022, and so on, which a lot of these international and national newspapers and websites publish. And that was a really fun activity to do, to go through all these lists and to get a recap of the books that I have been actually seeing on the bookstores, I have been browsing, I have been meaning to read, and so on. But to be honest, I don't really go by these reviews and these lists. If I find the blurb to be interesting, I will pick up the book. If a book speaks to me, I will pick it up. I won't think if it'll make it to the list of top hundreds at the end of the year. I won't think if it is going to be the bestseller by a certain international newspaper and so on. So I will pick it up if I really want to read it. But this was a fun activity to do, and it also helped me to shortlist a few books that I will be reading in the coming year. The good thing about these lists is that when you read the summaries and when you read the storyline, you will be able to decide for yourself whether you want to read them or not for the future, and you can add these books to your future reading list. Then the most interesting thing that I did on the very first day of 2023, one of the most interesting things, or actually the highlight of the day for me, was that I could spend a little bit of time, a 1 hour or so, in journaling. And this was something really on my mind for a very long time since the year was closing. Already since then, I was thinking to jot down my thoughts, to plan ahead, to have just, a one-to-one with myself. So that was one thing I could enjoy on the very first day of the new year. I could spare some time, go out in a nice coffee shop, and just pen down my thoughts. And if you have been following me, you would know that I am a big journaling fan. I love to just write down my thoughts, even if it's like half a page or 1 page, or planning or having a vision, making a list, any of those things. I love to journal. So that was a really exciting thing for me to do on the very first day of the new year. And as they say, whatever you do on the very first day, you are going to do that for the rest of the year as well. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that I journal a lot this year. I hope so. So that was really fun. Another interesting thing, or actually a much needed thing I did, was to clean my little bookshelf. Lot of books had been piling up, had been sitting there for the last couple of years, and those were books which I have read. Many of them I had read, many I had not even touched in like a million years. So I decided this time that I will be not only just organizing my bookshelf, putting things from one shelf to the other, but I would also be donating some books. So this time I cleaned and organized my bookshelf, and I also took out a huge pile of books which I am no longer going to read, and I kept them for donation. Some of the noteworthy books I read in 2022 were Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Is that how his name is pronounced? That book was really very fascinating. I mean, I really loved his ideas. It was original. It was really something I can relate to. I can associate myself with as well. However, I also read another book by the same author called Effortless, and honestly, I was not impressed. It felt more like a patchwork of different books on minimalism, essentialism. It was a mix of different self help books that I have read in the past, and I didn't find any originality there. But if you are new to the idea of productivity, increasing your efficiency, or doing things in a more efficient manner, in an effortless way, then probably you can grab this book as well. But do start with Essentialism. Another book that I read, which I would like to mention, is The Curious History of Sex. And this book is actually an etymological account of all the sexual slangs that we come across, like what's a whore, for example. How did this word even come in the English dictionary? It goes back to its origin to 18th century, what it meant, and it connects those terms to present contemporary realities, how we are continuing the use of certain terms like these in the present times as well. For example, the former US President Donald Trump called Hillary Clinton a whore. So, what does that mean? So, how and why these words still continue to be a part of our social vocabulary? Why language has become a battleground of social equality in a way, in authors' own words. So, this is one book which feminists, non feminists, or linguistic experts should really pick up. And I believe this book is really rich in content if you really want to understand the meaning, the history of these terms. Another book that I picked up recently was Your Brain. And this book, I don't know why the author kept this title, but this book really is very, very important if you want to understand what is anxiety, what is depression, what is grief, and some of these kinds of mental health issues. The chapter that I really liked was the one on grief, because the author actually explains how we should approach a person who is grieving. I mean, a lot of times we do try to offer help to people who are grieving, who are sad, but our help sometimes becomes very problematic. Sometimes the words that we choose to comfort that person actually upsets them even more, makes them sadder. And this particular chapter helps us to understand from a psychological point of view how we have to deal with a person who is grieving, who is dealing with something really heavy, who has a very heavy burden. to deal with. So that particular chapter stood out for me, and also all the other chapters are fantastically, scientifically, logically explained. So do take a look at this book if you haven't already. And I also bought this book from the Mayday bookstore. I believe I have shown this book in that video to you. This is a book of poems and it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I mean, this makes for a lovely bedtime read. These are mostly, I would say, romantic poems, but also very deep in their meaning. Oh my God. And with such few words, with just like a few lines, the poetess has conveyed so much. I mean, it's beautiful. And what's fun about this book is that the pictures are also clicked by the poetess herself. So this really makes for a very interesting book, and I do read it sometimes before my bedtime. I've only picked up a few books that I remember on top of my head, honestly, which I have read in the last 1 year. And one thing that I had really been wanting to do was to visit another bookstore in Delhi, and I really wanted to go to the Oxford bookstore, to the Crossword bookstore, but none of that happened after my last visit to the Mayday bookstore. But I'm hoping to make one visit at least to one of the bookstores in Delhi, and if not, then no regrets, because I have been to these bookstores before, but I really wanted to check them out again this time. After a very long period of time, I would have been going there.
But never mind if I can't go there. But let's see. I'm just keeping it open ended, hoping for the best, hoping for an opportunity. If I get a chance, I would love to go.
But if not, it's okay. I have covered 3 new bookstores this time in my visit to Delhi, so it's pretty okay. So that's pretty much about it, and I hope you like this video. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Until my next video, thank you and bye.